So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like our post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
All right. Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit Gabrielsen and I'm the tiny one.
Welcome.
Good day.
So, what's happening, Tiny?
Why do you need to ask that question? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we went to...
It's been a lot happening.
Yes.
And we just had a heated discussion before coming in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a lot of energy.
Yes, it's excellent.
Frustration.
Around,
we did have a podcast about ranting, I think,
yeah.
The difference between...
Yeah, venting and ranting.
And stuff.
Yeah,
a while
to
back.
vent is fine.
Yes.
That's right. And nobody holds you accountable when you vent.
No.
Because sometimes the pressure's
That's why that's
high.
not on the podcast.
That's right.
Just the energy is a little bit high. No, a lot has happened.
We were at a Joe Dispenza meditation event. 2,500 people experiencing
cool.
meditation and research around meditation. And just so you know, let me drop the bomb. You should meditate. Like we've been saying, that's why we have events as well.
I had a realization around meditation that I'm a poet. You saw that the rhyme there. Because I've been using a lot of I always talked about it before, but meditation I was introduced to was the Moksha Meditation, which basically is the breath. And that's the basic one that we always start with in our courses. And it's a very applicable one because you can use it all the time, every day. When you're walking, you don't have to do anything, sit. You don't need anything to do it because it's your breath and you kind of breathe. Yeah,
it's with you all the time.
It's with you all the time.
You don't need a fancy mala bead. You don't need, an app like Mindspace.
You need oxygen. That's what you need.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. And I really like that one. And actually that helped me a lot in these meditations as well because when you start drifting off, that can help you come back because the meditation we did was guided meditations, all of them. We did 30 hours of meditation in 7 days.
Yep.
And
30 plus.
30 plus.
Like 36,
yeah, I think it was
37.
Something like that.
Cray,
and
it's cray.
We started at 4 o'clock in the morning and between 4 and 6, and we ended around 7, 8.
Yep.
So it's a lot of meditation, and I have never meditated this much in my life. I've never been sitting this much to meditate in my life. Really interesting. It gave me a lot in the perspective of why I should do this. And for me, it's a big contrast because normally I'm always busy. I'm doing stuff all the time. And this forced me to sit down, and it balanced out kind of who I am in a way. And it gave a lot of depth. And also to meditate with, you could really feel the difference between meditating alone when you got home and being there and meditating with 2,500 people.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a field that's generated.
You were Superman and can lift 14 cars, and then you got home and you have issue lifting a kilo of flour.
Yeah,
the difference in connection, depth, concentration, completely different.
Yeah, and if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you've worked in a bar, or you work in a store, you realize constantly that people they're flock animals. We run in herds. We're herding. So not hurting, but herding.
Herding.
Yes. So the thing is that, people move in waves, whether they know it or not. People move where people move, and people go where people go. And yeah, you can in some way say, yeah, but they, it's word of mouth and it's this time or that time. And there's society has a pattern, but humans have patterns, and humans have a collective unconscious. The psychologist Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious, which rules basically a lot of our behaviors. And, we talk about memes and these ideas and ways of looking at things that kind of travel through society without us really necessarily having any logical rationale for it, because that's just the way people look at things. And we're part of this group. Well, it's more than that. Your consciousness is in contact with other people's consciousness. It's the same, pure consciousness is the same in every person. They talk about people who become completely enlightened, understand that they walk basically in the field of energy. And they know that pure consciousness, that spark in you is that same spark in them. There is only one spark. And, they talk about that in physics, in quantum physics, by the way, and in terms of light. And you think that from our perspective, when you turn on a light bulb, photons go from the light into the room and suddenly there's light, right? But actually, weirdly enough, at the speed of light, they've calculated the way a photon experiences the universe is that the whole universe moves around it and it never moves. And in fact, space-time collapses at that speed. And when space-time collapses, then you realize that there's no space and no time. And then they actually are postulating that there's only one photon. It's just everywhere at once. So, quantum physics and consciousness have a connection. So getting back to this whole thing of being in this field, when you're there with these sparks of consciousness that suddenly realize that they're one, there's this field generated. And you felt that field, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, it was very clear. That's why I say if you don't understand physics, like me, just go to an event.
There you go. You're
going to feel it instead.
We'll upgrade you in your head, and we'll also allow you to feel that field. It's amazing.
And that was a really interesting experience. So now I'm, well, if you're going to do the job, you're going to do the job. So I'm meditating sitting for 2 hours a day now.
Yep. Something that she said she would never do before, by the way.
I'm going to do it for 2 months. Just to
very proud
test
of her.
it. Of course, I hopefully am going to do the rest of my life. But now I'm kind of, it's very new. And you start something new and implement it. You shouldn't start with this much maybe. But that's how I approach stuff. So I'm doing one morning, one afternoon, not evening, because if I do evening, I can't sleep because you wake up. You kind of, when you go out, you go, oh my God.
You get energy.
You get energy from it. So I'm trying to do it before 6 o'clock. And it's been an interesting ride so far. But again, really interesting to feel the difference in you felt like Superman there, and then you go home and you can't lift a kilo of flour. And then you kind of just stick to it. You have to do it, and because you understand that, well, you've been there once and you can get there again. And it didn't take many sit-downs before I got there. And it's slightly different, but it's also, of course, not 2,500 people there.
Yeah, it's like...
And it's so much easier to wanting to stop and pull out.
Yeah.
Like, it must have been an hour now. You should look at the clock. No, don't look at the clock. But when you meditate with someone, it's just, you don't think about it because you're there for someone else.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
So then you don't think about time.
And somebody else has control of the time, so you just let it go. One thing I really loved that you said, and this is part of the point, people are like, well, I don't understand why people sitting with your eyes closed, that's going to make you better at anything. It's just your eyes are closed and you're sitting there. But just one tiny itsy bitsy little teeny weeny aspect of this is something that you said so beautifully. Here you are, you want to be a world champion, you want to be a business person, you want to be a great mama, dad, you want to be whatever you want, right? And those things take what? They take discipline. They take sticking to it. They take not making excuses. They take not falling for distractions for other possible good things. In order to be something excellent, you have to stick to it, right? So, you're sitting there and you're going to meditate. And then in some of these meditations, you visualize what you want. You manifest it by becoming that thing inside and then releasing it to the universe. But no, I have to distract myself a little bit because my nose itches.
Yeah.
And if you can't resist scratching your nose and stick with the fact that
Then
you're
I'm
creating
sorry.
reality.
I know I'm gonna hit the. I'm gonna, when people don't know this, but when you go to and I publish the podcast, I need to kind of make a X if it's swearing words. I'm gonna have to do it again now because shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Really, you scratched your nose
Yeah,
instead of focusing on your future.
yeah. Somehow scratching your nose was much more enticing than becoming your future.
Then you don't want it bad enough.
Then you don't really want it that bad. You understand your emotional intensity is probably not high enough, and it's okay to notice the fact that your nose is itch. And the fact is that if you scratch your nose, what do you think is going to happen after that?
Or something else going to start scratching.
Something else is going to be itching.
I tested this. In the first meditation we had there, you kind of just, you sit down and you just kind of start and you start scratching. And then my ear started and I scratched my ear. And then my arm started. And I went, this thing is just moving. Yeah. This is bullshit. So I didn't actually cross my arms. I put my hands in the lap and said, you're not going to move. Yeah. You're not allowed to move. I don't care what you do. You're not moving. Mm-hmm. And after that, then I just took a deep dive right in.
That's
because I also found that when my body started to itch, especially itching, it's because the body kind of trying to kind of, hello, I'm important too.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm still here.
And it's a test.
It's a test. It's a test. Do you want this bad enough, or do you want to scratch your nose? If you scratch your nose, don't come to me and complain that it didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know why.
This meditation doesn't seem to work because
your manifestation doesn't work.
I'm manifesting steaks and only getting fish. I don't understand why. Well, did you scratch your nose? How many times? 50? Well, stop scratching your nose. See what happens. Mm-hmm. But it's so easy to get, and then someone makes a sound over, like,
and you have to open your eyes
and see what it is, and then you have the blindfolds on, so you don't see anything anyways. and then we had a lady, because you're 2,500 people meditating, so thing happens, and we had a lady that was starting to shake, not too far over, and it was really interesting because there was such an interesting experience to not let her, because she's doing her and fine. But how to not let her shaking, and it wasn't the shaking because I'm used to shaking because we do TRE, which is trauma releasing exercises. Mm-hmm. But my chair was shaking. Yeah. Because she was shaking so much. And to not let that interfere with my meditation. Just
let it distract you.
Say, good on you, girl.
Yeah.
But I'm doing me now. Yeah. That is not affecting my meditation because this is my meditation. Instead of starting to think, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
I wish you would stop that.
Yeah.
And then you have the one that screamed over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you had, now Joe is breathing hard into the microphone. Like you start thinking about all of this instead of just letting that go. But I think it's also, I don't know, because I haven't done it that much, but it's maybe coping mechanisms, because going deep is also very scary.
It's actually quite scary.
It can be very...
Yeah, it's like being in a sensory deprivation tank. If you've ever been in one of those floating tanks that you can't see, feel, it's body temperature.
I get all
you're
numb.
Floating. Yeah, that's the whole point.
My whole body is numb.
Yeah.
And
that's it, because you've released it.
It's a very interesting experience.
So this, my friends, and I know there are people who are engineers that are listening to this. There are people who don't believe in any woo-woo shit. There are people who are all in on shamanism or
and all the woo shit.
And all the woo shit. I mean, we have, thousands of people are listening to us now. We love you all. And I just want to be a little bit respectful for my engineer friends who are going, that's bullshit. This whole thing's bullshit. But listen, sitting down with your eyes closed and being able to learn the skill of letting things go. Letting things go so that you can focus on what you want is good or bad.
Good.
Of course it's good. If you're going to be distracted by every little thing that happens and every little thought that you have and every little itch that you have and every little shiny object that you're going to run after like a freaking monkey, do you think you're going to get anywhere in your life? Of course not.
And doing precision work is going to be very, very hard.
That's it. And doing precision work is very difficult, you know? I mean, we're talking about being able to release all the shit that you're usually triggered by, that you're usually distracted by, and focus on what you want in your life. That's valuable. Just that one skill, if you have that skill, you can be excellent in anything. If you don't have that skill, my friends, you're unfortunately part of the great number of people who are buying crap online in the middle of the night and making horrible decisions in their life because something else looks better over there, or, you know, having just to have that one more cookie all the time because they just can't look at it on the plate.
But you deserve that cookie, though.
Right? You know, I remember there was this kahuna shaman that I talked to one time. Now, kahuna shamanism or kahuna medicine men, they're from Hawaii. And I got a great pleasure. I was very, very honored to hang out with this guy. And he saw me take a cookie. It's because I actually talk from experience, right? I took the cookie and he's like, "Did you want that cookie, my friend?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Did you actually want that cookie?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't really say I wanted it, but I mean, I wasn't hungry, and you know, I had 4. But it was there. I just get it finished with it. Just get it finished because it's. I mean, you don't want one lonely cookie.
Well, if Norwegian, you always leave the last one.
Right?
No one takes the last piece.
In America, we always do. We're like, "Oh, we're gonna get that over with." You know, thank you. It was really good. Let me take the last piece. We're not that polite. And he's like, "Seriously, did you really want that cookie? Because you grabbed it like you wanted it." I'm like, snag. And I'm like, "Nah, you know, I probably didn't really need the cookie and didn't really want it that way." And he said, "Did you taste it?" "Well, kind of. Like, how long did you taste it?" "Well, when it went in my mouth." "Yeah. How long did you chew it?" "I don't know." "Exactly. So you weren't present with that cookie at all, were you?" And I'm like, "That's a good point." He said, "You didn't enjoy that cookie at all, did you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit. I didn't enjoy that cookie. I didn't even taste it, actually."
No, you just ate it.
I just automatically, like a machine.
There's a big difference between enjoying it and tasting it and just eating it.
Yeah, because if you enjoy it, and when you stop enjoying it, you stop eating it, which is like 1 or 2 cookies. But when you've had 4 and you're going to just snag that last 5th one. And he said, "You know, I'm going to teach you something." And I'm like, "Really?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to teach you something." He says, "When your hand goes to pick up a cookie, Jason," and I'm like, "Yeah," and you pick up the cookie, you ask yourself, "Do I really want that cookie?" And if you don't really want it, put it down. And I'm like,
going to remind you about this.
Yeah, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. With that, some kind of esoteric, you know, woo stuff. But actually being able to let something go that is not needed or wanted in the moment is how important.
Oh, extremely important. And to ask the question, do I want this? Or is it just something I do?
Yeah, it's something I'm going to do because I'm lonely, greedy, feel at a loss, don't know what else to do, bored. Why are you doing that? And I didn't understand what he taught me when he taught me that. I understand it now. And meditation can give you that. So my engineer friends, understanding that just that one thing is most efficiently learned by sitting with your eyes closed, feeling your breath for 20 minutes a day. Do you think you should start meditating?
Yes.
Yeah.
We also have really interesting is that I have this nice, I have it here. If you're on YouTube, you can see it. I have these.
Manto eye shades.
Manta eye shades. It's not commercial. It's just, I love
It's not a paid
these.
promotion.
It's very
You're not sponsored
interesting
in any way.
Maybe one of our listeners is going to say that I have theirs because I started up with having one that I got from Siv, your wife, out of the blue 2 years back. Mm-hmm. I now have 3.
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know why.
I think I gave you one of mine.
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I don't have one.
Well, then maybe I have one of yours. No one has given it to me. It just ended up at my place.
Yeah.
And the one that I do use is in my bed because I sleep with this on also.
Yep.
But now I have 3. I have one here. Mm-hmm. I have one in my bed and then one in my meditation chair.
Yeah.
So I kind of... But the point was, because they are it gets so dark that you can't see. That gets dark. No light goes in. I also noticed that my eyes are open.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
Yeah.
And after a while, I just realized, why am I blinking? And then it's because my eyes been open for so long that I need to blink. And I go, oh.
Wow.
I didn't realize I had my eyes open, which is a very interesting experience.
That's how dark it is.
That's how dark it is, but also that you get so deep and you see so much.
Yeah.
With not
on
seeing.
The inside. Yeah.
On the inside that you kind of, it's so amazing, guys. That's the whole point. You should come. We are having a meditation event in 2 weeks.
Yep. It's full.
Sold out.
I'm sorry.
But we talked about it before. We have some exciting news, and we are, I haven't talked to Jason about this. Like, we have talked about it, but not talked about it. We want to expand the event.
Yes.
Next event, we're going to have a lot.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more people.
We're going to have opportunities for a lot more people to come. And
because we're constantly sold out. And I'm sorry, guys. I know that many of you send messages and want to come in, but we
have the capacity. You have to have room for all the people.
That's
at the location we are now, we don't have room for more people to create the environment we want to have, and that's extremely important. I feel when you do something like this, that it has to be true and real, and it's not about getting. It has to be correct.
Not correct has to be
correct
best,
as it is, and I think one of the things that we're going to focus on, especially in the next ones, because we're also thinking about, I'm coming all the bloopers here, expanding in time frame.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things when you meditate also comes up. You get questions, you see things from your perspective, you see your ego, you realize that you thought what you wanted wasn't what you wanted, or you realize that you actually using something that you thought you wanted as an escapism, like a thing comes up. So also gonna start working with what comes up for people. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be a very interesting concept we're building now. With you're gonna get a lot of work done during a very short time.
Yes, that's it.
I think it's gonna be a
lot of evolution and a lot of integration, and that's one of the things that's very important to understand as well, the integrative process.
Oh, I think that's underrated so much, because the issue with going to, I love the event we went to. What I liked most was that, well, first of all, I meditated for 30 plus hours, never done that.
Amazing.
The opportunity to do that for a week without having any distractions is something different. And the opportunity to meditate with 2,500 people, that was an amazing experience. The issue I don't experience this as much because I come home with you and Steve and we work together. So we travel as a group and we come home as a group. Yeah,
and we hold that level of consciousness in the group. Yeah. Meaning that we help each other hold ourselves to a higher level of frequency.
Yeah, and we've been there together. So when I slip, they can go, hey, you remember? Oh, yeah, I remember. Thank you.
And Marit's like, Jason, do you really want that 5th cookie?
Like, really? So you kind of hold each other to, and you kind of, in a process like that, it is very intimate in one way, and it's, you don't share it with many, but you share it with some, and they then can kind of know where you are and can kind of help you work with it. But if you go to an event like that and you have a really big breakthrough, when you go home, the 3D world here has necessarily changed. You are different. You're not the same person. So it feels like I've been at if you watch Lord of the Rings and the last movie, all the Frodo and Sam and Munti and Pippin, they come back to the Shire and they have saved the world basically and know about elves and dwarves and all that. And the Shire hasn't changed. People there is just as brutal and vulgar and jokey and are just the same, but they are not the same people anymore. So to have someone then to pick up a beer with and say cheers, because they know they're not the same people anymore, that's important.
Having a peer group.
Having someone to have contact with, so that you don't fall back into all the old patterns, but that you start integrating the change you decided to make.
Yeah, that's it. And, there's this thing with the integrated human, And that is that we say up, down, inside out. And up, down means that, from your spiritual beliefs and your philosophy to your mind and your conceptualization, supercharged by your emotion and landed like a lightning strike in action. That's how you manifest your life. Most of us just float around thinking one thing, doing something else, feeling something completely else, not even conscious of what kind of philosophy we have, if we're even in spiritual contact with anything.
And you asked me an interesting question. And you asked, do you think about what you're doing? I said, no. Often my head is actually, and that I always been, is often very empty. I always had that ability that when people ask what you think about, I'm like, nothing, and you think about something. But often it's just empty. I was just looking out the window, and it's empty inside. And I asked my husband, because I thought that was normal, and I asked, so are you thinking about what you're doing? And he said, yeah. I'm lifting up the spoon, or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. It's like narrating your activity is not the same as activating your intellect. A lot of people take themselves out of their present state by narrating. Now I'm walking down the stairs. Now I'm going to lift. Now I'm going to wash the table. Now it's time for me. It helps them keep their mind from wandering too far, but having that clear, open nothingness in your mind is the best. That's actually the queen empress of all action. It's about deciding what's going to happen where you use, but once you're doing it, once you're in it, it's about being in that thing until you have to make another decision. And then it's again, up, down, inside out. But as long as that activity is continuing and it's of course what you're doing, I would definitely rather be you.
It just sounded to me like that's a lot of thinking.
Yeah, it's a lot of thinking, and it's a lot of activation, useless activation of the mind. And that's what a lot of people do. They narrate their life. Oh, what am I going to do now? Oh, I'm having this discussion in my head about what I'm going to do. That's not actually intellectual work. That's busy work for the head.
That's a lot of worrying and planning.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, how much of your thoughts are you thinking about things you're already going to do?
Yeah, that's it.
I need to take off the alarm when I go in the door. You always take off the alarm when you walk in the door.
So what
because you'd walk around the reception, in the office at least, around the reception, and you'll go over to the panel. That's the path. You don't have to think that it's going to happen.
That's it.
Why did you use that much energy thinking about something that's already going to happen?
Exactly.
Or I'm going to walk up, I'm going to go in, I'm going to walk up the stairs, I'm going to push, I'm going to make coffee, I'm going to have coffee.
Now I'm taking
Of course you're going to have coffee. You always have coffee in the morning. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Release that thought, release that energy. And that is a very interesting experiment to do.
Yeah.
To have I had a game one of the days where I'm going to catch myself every time I think about something that I know I'm already going to do. It's something else that I need to remember to do this because it's out of your pattern. Mm-hmm. But my everyday pattern, you can copy paste that stuff.
Yeah, and you can that with everybody. Like seriously, more than 90% of what you do every single day is the same unless you're on vacation or you're doing something. Yeah.
Copy paste Monday.
Yeah.
The patterns you have looks exactly the same on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Exactly the same on Wednesday. Okay, maybe a little bit different on Wednesday because you have soccer practice in the evening. But then you can copy paste that Wednesday to the next Wednesday to the next Wednesday.
Yeah.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Don't think about it.
Exactly. The thoughts, the things you say, the things you discuss, the people you meet are most likely the same unless you have a very special life. And you're like, well, there's some people out there who go, oh, that's a really sad way to look at life, that it's just copy paste. But to be quite honest, how do you become excellent at something?
Copy paste.
High quality copy paste.
High quality copy paste. High 4D is the resolution.
Yeah. High quality.
And then you take away low repetitions and you put in something new.
Yeah,
which
the
is
resolution.
Higher resolution on. So if you drink Coca-Cola 3 liters a day, you change that to water. That's an upgrade. Good job.
Yeah,
And then
that's
you
it.
copy paste that one.
You copy paste it, right? So higher and higher quality copy paste is how you become great at everything. Okay. So
And to say that you don't have a copy paste life, try it out. You have a copy paste life. And it's just how it is, because you need structure.
Yeah. Society demands structure, and also actually excellence demands structure. If you want to be a great artist, you have to draw every day. And you can say, well, I draw sometimes at 8 o'clock in the morning and sometimes at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, but you're still drawing every day, which means that at least part of that time, that 2 hours that you're going to be drawing to become excellent at drawing, is going to be the same every day, right? You may move it forward or back, but the point is that you don't have to think about the fact that you're going to draw. You know you're going to draw.
It's what you do.
That's what you do. It's part of who you are, who you've decided to be.
And I think that's the thing, who you decided to be, because you shouldn't. People are, so you can, but you shouldn't hide behind, but that's who I are, but it's who I choose to be. That's the direction.
Yeah, you actually have made those choices.
Yeah,
whether you know them or not.
Oh, you've made so many decisions.
Yes.
Your life, like if you have an issue or you don't have an issue, you make some very concrete decisions along the way. The question is, did you make them intentionally or not?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Or did life happen to you?
That's it. That's right. That's
then
correct.
If life happens to you, you start to get very low copy pastes.
That's it. Low res copy pastes make low res lives. Yes. That sucks.
Copyright that.
Yep, that's it. Bang bang.
No, it's at least that was what we've been doing last 1.5 weeks.
Yeah,
it's been interesting experience. I never had meditation that way, and it just made me understand. Because I have meditated, we talked about it, and I said I like it before, but I used a lot of meditation that I use all the time, and walking and working.
It's samurai meditation. And, you're a samurai. That's what it is.
Type, and I love it.
Yeah, it's actually the ultimate.
It's very functional.
Yeah,
but I really enjoy the contrast in actually just having to sit. Yeah,
that's the thing that you didn't want to do. You did.
Yeah, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
which makes it a challenge.
Yes,
and your nose will itch, and you like at one point it was something like had a feather up my nose, and what is was one of the meditation where you did a box meditation, which means that you kind of gonna jump boxes.
Yeah.
So you have an issue, and then you're gonna visualize a world, a state, a time that you don't have that issue in, and how does that look like, and how does that feel like?
Yeah.
And I found my issue or my problem, and I twist boxes. I was so focused on it. I'm like, is a world without this issue, problem for me more important than that itch? Like, yeah, do not itch.
Mm.
You do not itch. And interesting enough, when you just don't focus on it,
it goes away.
Yeah,
it goes away.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah, and people are like, that's bullshit. That's not true. Well, have you ever noticed that when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to go to the bathroom even more when you're getting close to the toilet?
Oh, it
increases so much. How much?
Oh, exponentially.
Yeah, you almost don't get your pants off to go to the bathroom because it's increasing so much, right? Now, that's what this whole point is. The more focus you give it, the more focus you give it.
And if you think about, it itches. Oh, it's going to itch more. It's going to itch more. You have to... So I
have to let
it go. And I said, focus on your hands. I'm like, oh, hands. I have hands. Oh, that's interesting. And then the itch went away.
Yeah.
And then the itch went away, and then it came back.
That's it. Yeah. It comes back.
Like,
and
oh,
me too.
I saw it again.
Yeah.
Damn it. Go back to the hands. So it's really, really cool experiences.
It is.
And you get more and more of them.
Yeah.
But to be able to stick with something that's uncomfortable. And I think that's why I like it also, because it is uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Walking meditations and being in that comes more easily. This is actually hard work.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. It's hard work because it's mastering yourself.
And it's the opposite of what I would normally do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you'll just scratch your nose and keep going.
Yeah, which comes to the balance thing you should have.
So let's talk about this whole thing, because I think I find this very interesting. This whole concept of letting go. Okay? Because letting go is such a powerful tool. So what are things that, in order to become the best at something, what are things that we have to let go of? Caring if you're tired.
That doesn't matter.
Right? Caring that it's uncomfortable.
That can't matter.
Caring that it's not always socially acceptable to be excellent.
Oh, you can't worry about that.
Yeah. Caring about the fact that if you are going to be the best at something, sometimes you have to choose you over other people.
Yeah, that's just how it has to be.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, sometimes you have to let go of being an egotist, because that's what's needed to support you further in your path.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You have to let go of things that are enticing you from the outside, that break your diet. What other things can it break?
Sorry, my brain just stops.
Yeah, things from the outside of what you're becoming excellent at can break your diet, because maybe if you have to diet for a certain sport or whatever, can break your routines that are necessary to become excellent, like your high-res copy-paste.
Yeah.
It can break your focus and your belief, right? There's things that can break your focus. You have to let go of things that make you over-evaluate or catastrophize, right? Does that make sense? So if I over-evaluate my skill as a day trader, and I can't be bothered to look at my mobile phone when it's blowing up because there's a lot of activity on the market, but I have control, but I'm not, for some reason, I'm over-evaluating my control over the market, which I have absolutely none, by the way. Nobody has any control over the market.
No one has no control over that thing.
Exactly. Then you get burned, or the chances that you're going to get burned are high. Sooner or later, you're going to get burned if you not giving it the attention it needs. And on the other side of it, catastrophizing, thinking that the strategy that you've set forth is not going to be sufficient, and you constantly wearing yourself out by over-checking, is also not good, right? So there's to find the balance of excellence and to let go of the things that are not helping you, right? So, but are we always aware of the things that are not helping us?
No, but we talked about in the last podcast. How do you actually know what you want? How do you know that things are affecting you? Because it's just, like we said, your life is copy paste.
Mm.
And if you ask a person, I don't think me being very critical about every human being ever again, but if you ask people and you ask about what steals your focus in your everyday life, and people haven't thought about it.
Mm.
But
and
I think
why they let that thing steal their focus.
I don't think it's something we usually think about.
Yeah,
we should think about it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You should think about it, and also understanding that you have a copy-paste life, and also understanding that many of the things you're doing are similar, the same. You can look at what results you're getting, because your results in your life are coming from what you're doing constantly and how you're being. From your decisions. And maybe they're unconscious decisions and they've made your copy-paste from before. But try changing some things. I mean, this sounds really simplistic. Change some same things and see what results you get. Smile a little more. Be a little nicer. Be nice when it would be normal for you to be not nice. Wave at somebody in traffic instead of flip them off, Try to do something different and see if it makes you feel different, and see if you get a different result. So a lot of people are in a way making a lot of ideas around the way the world is based on what results they get, but they don't realize that the result they're getting is how they are, not how the world is. If you walk around with a scowl on your face and wonder why nobody smiles at you.
Yeah, you have a skull on your face.
It's like, dude, your scowl on your face. You look like shit. You look like you're about to bite my neck out.
I'm not going to smile at you.
I'm going to smile at you.
I'm going to run away.
I'm scared of you. And then the world's filled with shitty people that are never smile and nobody's nice.
So why should you smile then?
And then, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? There's so many times that people use this equation. If X, then Y. well, if I don't see 5 smiles today, then the world's filled with shitty people. Why don't you try to go out and make 5 smiles? Oh, then maybe.
Actually, if you try that, people look very strange at you because they're not used to people smiling.
Yeah, but
I've tried.
But
it's very, you should, and when you smile, people look at you like, what institution did you run from?
Yeah, right. Well,
like, well, I'm just kind of in a good place right now, so
it's okay to be happy.
It's okay to smile.
Yeah. Were you with me when I made that lady at the airport smile?
I can't remember. You make everybody smile.
Oh, come on. Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate you.
I don't know.
No, but there was like this lady at the airport. It was super busy, and there's been
Which airport? You need to be very specific here. It's a lot of airports. It's a lot of traveling.
Yeah, we do a lot of traveling. I know Rutger was there.
If he was there, most likely I was there. Depending was before Marit or after Marit.
But it could be BM, which is before Marit.
Yes,
and that's when because it's around that.
Well, then Rutger was there.
Yeah,
it's covered.
Yeah, and he had a challenge. Okay, we're throwing him under the bus. He had a challenge talking to ladies. He had. Now he has the
most
beautiful,
wonderful angel of a girlfriend.
Yeah, we
love her.
Yeah,
we love her.
She's super duper.
But before that, he had a challenge talking to women.
Yeah, there were some challenges.
Sorry,
sorry, buddy. We're letting the cat out of the bag here but okay, young, good-looking gentleman, lots of muscles, big smile, kind eyes. Only good things to say. Smart, charming, dependable, disciplined.
But doesn't smile in pictures.
But won't smile in pictures, and also would never smile to a girl at that point.
Because that's freaky. They may think he wants something.
Yeah, right. And no, dude. Anyway, it's a long story, but the point is that we were at the airport, and it was chaos, and they were having to book some new flights or whatever.
Yeah, then it's not. I wasn't there.
Okay, and I'm like, guys, because I have a lot of the guys around me at that point. And I'm like, guys, she's having a hard day because she was really working hard trying to get things, but she was not smiling. She was not happy. She was stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Stressed out. And I said, $100 for the first person makes her smile. And I'll let you guys go first. Well, Rutger, of course, didn't talk to her. I didn't. He was like,
take it at her.
Threw his ticket at her. Right?
Like, your ticket.
My ticket, fix it, And then I think Chris was there, and he was being a goof, and she didn't think he was funny at all. Right? And I walked over, and it was my $100. I got to keep it. And I just said, you know what? I want to thank you so much for taking such good care of us, because I know this situation really sucks. You are doing an awesome job. I just wanted to tell you, what was your name? And her name was Greta. I was like, Greta, thank you so much for being here today. And I'm pretty sure that any other person here would have tried to find a knife and stab that last guy in the neck. And she laughed so hard, right? $100 in my pocket, right? But just taking that moment to appreciate her and understand her situation was enough to lift her up. And then suddenly I wasn't in a world filled with stressed out, shitty people. And I got an upgrade. Thank you very much.
When you do that.
Yeah, but you see, that's the whole point. Suddenly I'm living in a world where people are happy and I'm getting upgrades, instead of living in a world where people are shitty and horrible and nobody smiles, right? So how I meet the world...
I don't think it's this poor lady's fault that for some reason...
No.
She didn't put a bird into the engine of the plane. She didn't want this to happen. She didn't
sabotage anything, and people getting
She also wants to go home.
She wants to go home, and she doesn't want to get yelled at, and she wants to be treated like a human being, and she wants to be appreciated for what she's doing, just like everybody else, weirdly enough.
Very strange.
That's the whole thing. So if X, then Y. Look at who you are. Look at how you're acting. Look at what your base face is. I remember you came to me and you said, okay, Jason. I'm like, what? relax your face. And I'm like, what do you mean relax my face? He's like nothing, like don't smile. Don't. And I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. I'm like, I kind of massage my face a little bit and try to make it relax. And yeah, you got a bitch face too. And I'm like, what? A bitch face? What's that? But it's like, if you relax your face, are you scowling or are you happy? Are you smiling? Are you positive? Are you open? Are you closed? Like when you're doing you with no impulse.
When you don't have to be anything.
Yeah.
Pretend to act. You don't have to put on any filters.
Yeah. You're walking down the street. Nobody knows you. Who are you? That's pretty much what you're attracting in your everyday life, actually. If you don't think about it, that's what you're attracting. So why not walk with a smile and look for something positive in the things around you? Mm-hmm. Weirdly enough, when you look for positive things, you find positive things. When you're looking for shitty things, you
find shitty things.
Find shitty things. But
I think it has to do. You have to really. You can't play the part. You have to be the part. So I know about some guys I know, and they're. If you interact with them, mm-hmm. they're super happy and fun and so polite and then you turn your back to them. Mm-hmm. And they're sitting and they're just like, oh, that wasn't good enough. And I'm super unhappy with this. And that wasn't. But of course, because you are playing a part, you're trying to get something. You're trying to be good instead of being good. And you see the difference between people that are genuinely, I don't know, I don't like to say this, but a good person. Because you're total. So, but the people that are... You really showed care for that lady. You weren't trying to... It wasn't a shallow thing. That's what I'm trying to say. No. I think it's not about being shallow. It's about actually look at that person. And we actually had that interaction in the course. We had this nice lady that was meditating. Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
That was hugging.
Yeah. Oh, that's so powerful. That was a moment of Marit. A moment. Well,
I don't know.
It was beautiful.
It was a moment because we had this lady who had been doing some meditations and it was powerful meditations, and you really felt connected with the people inside the group. Mm-hmm. And it was a really, you don't know these people. I was sitting with Siv. Mm-hmm. We were 8 people. I was sitting with Siv in this situation, so I knew her, but I didn't know any of the other people.
Yeah, and she came over to me after. I came over afterwards. So this was awesome.
And then she gets up, and you don't know any of these people. And she was kind of giving the shallow hug, because we were giving her a meditation.
Yeah, and what was her energy like?
She was showing gratefulness in the way she wasn't grateful, because that's what the thing. I was looking at her, and she was giving, because I could feel how much. That was such a wonderful meditation, and I could see that she was playing grateful. She wasn't grateful.
Yeah, and she's from Romania.
She was from Romania. Wonderful young girl.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys,
I call her girl because she's like 24.
Yeah, but Romania, as many of you know, had a lot of economic strife many years ago. Now it's a modernizing, wonderful place with lots of forward-moving, excellent human beings. I mean, amazing. But the exposure that most people have to people from Romania are people who left Romania and they became gypsies. So there are a lot of negative stereotypes there. So she came into a large group of people as a Romanian, and they often meet a lot of, I don't know, bad stigma. Like people.
Yeah, she was kind of expressing, like you say.
They're guarded.
I'm guarding, so I can't receive the love you're giving me, so I'm being guarded back.
I'm supposed to be nice and grateful for what you've given.
Forgot you're giving me, so I'm doing the nice hug. I don't know you people, and I would like to keep distance, but you know.
Because I think you're going to think that I'm gross because I'm Romanian, and therefore I'm going to be...
Something was going on. I wasn't in her head, so I don't know. But I could just see that this is not how you hug after a situation like this. It would be something else if I haven't met you before and we had dinner and I had spoke 2 words with you and go, oh, nice meeting you, bye. But this was a moment of pure gratefulness. So she hugs, goes around, and it's me and Steve at the end. And I'm just not having this. Like you said before, if you want the nice truth, go to Jason. If you just want to write in your face, you come to me. So she comes to me to give me the shallow hug. And I hold her on your shoulders. And I look her in the eye, and I just tell her, I'm going to hug you for a very long time now. Is that okay? Asking for permission. And she goes, okay. And I hugged her. And I really, like, bamseklam in Norwegian, you know, like bear hugging.
Yeah.
And but not like squeezing her, just relaxing into it.
Because you could have snapped her spine.
You kind of don't want to.
She's
but
tiny.
It's just
yeah.
kind of tiny one, I said. I didn't say it, but I didn't tell her that. But feel the hug. Yeah. And you could feel her body just being very tense. And she just dropped right into it.
Yeah. It
was so insane. And then I released the hug and I looked her in the eye, and then she was crying and she didn't know what to do with herself. And then I gave her to Siv and I just tell her, and this is the lady that taught me to hug like that. And she hugged Siv, and then she just clapped even more into her arms. And when we're done, she was just kind of just hanging around C's waist because she's very tall, and this was my height kind of lady. Yeah. And it was just so wonderful to see how she went from playing the role of gratefulness to being grateful.
That's it.
That's two very different states.
Yep.
That person that went around first to, this is the part we do now, but when I turn around, I'm not going to feel anything different. And it's like, it was okay. To just not being able to leave because she's so in the moment. And that was a very intense experience.
Very, very.
So to not, and there was such a difference between the playing it and being it. And you could really see it on her.
Yeah, that's it.
Her whole being, she was just different.
Yeah.
She became so beautiful. It was, I just told her, you gorgeous. Because, and she was pretty before.
Yeah.
But she was gorgeous after.
But that's the whole point.
It was very interesting to watch.
You know, there's a lot of things that can be physically aesthetic, but repulsive because they're vulgar or gross or nasty in a not good way. Okay, go ahead and be nasty in a good way, but not in a bad way, you know. And sometimes people who are not necessarily, of course, this lady was lovely. I'm not talking specifically about her, but when you see a person who maybe is not physically aesthetic, but they're beautiful because they are loving. They're beautiful because they're living in that energy around them, that they're open and that they're well inside. They glow in a certain way. It's so beautiful. And when you can help that person find that thing inside them, it's a miracle. It's a soulgasm, baby.
Soulgasm.
So Marit had the moment of Marit. Yeah. Soulgasms.
Well, we're not calling it that. It was all her. I just gave her a hug. But that was a very cool experience to see that change.
Yeah.
But the point was that she went from playing the part to being it.
That's it.
And playing polite is not the same as being polite.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And if you want to really attract the good things, you have to be the things that, not act it out.
Yeah, that's it.
If you are being super charming and nice to the waitress coming over, but when she turns around, you go, she smelled funny, or she didn't do my order right, and that was horrible. You're not being it.
Mm-hmm. And you can also be nice and loving and still be correcting.
Oh yeah, you have some. Those are the best corrections.
Yeah, one of my favorite Marit expressions during the course. There's a lady there called Susie.
She's so beautiful. Wonderful. She's the 16th chapel.
Yes, exactly. It was so cute because Marit was like, "You're so beautiful. You're like the 16th chapel." And I'm like, "Did you mean Sistine Chapel?"
Yes, I did.
And she's like, "I'll be the 16th for you, Marit. I love you so much."
She's so in beautiful. Her 70s.
Yeah, she's in her 70s.
Yeah.
She's like 76, I believe. And she's British, beautiful, elegant, loving, intelligent, successful, kind, present, evolved, soft, disciplined, strict, and your boss if she needs to be. But so soft.
Yeah, I think if she had said jump to me, I would have jumped. It wouldn't
Yeah,
have asked,
she's
you
so-
wouldn't have asked why.
she's
Okay,
so-
I'm jumping.
Yeah.
You just don't know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You just, that's the correct thing to do.
It's like Queen Grandmother.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was so wonderful. So,
Yeah, 16th chapel.
yeah, 16th chapel.
Yep. I'm like, damn, I want to meet the 17th.
Well, when I say things very fast, sometimes it comes out wrong.
It's so cute.
But I'm just saying, English is not my native language.
That's right. We don't hold you to that standard either.
No,
But
I'm
though
Norwegian.
actually you're quite excellent, just so it's said.
I'm Norwegian trained.
Quite excellent.
Thank you.
Yes.
That was today.
Yeah. So thank you for listening to us. And remember, you matter unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, then your energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.